Wait till I get back and see him. Wait till I slap a. Alright, yeah. Yeah, wait. Wait till I come back in the market late night. And then it's just you and I you up.
Children gonna be children. Kids will be kids, man. You know what I'm saying? I expect that from them. I expect them to do the wrong thing.
Word on the street is that King Harris, reckless mouth behind bars, has finally written a check he might not be able to cash. Insiders claim his father, T.I., is now scrambling desperately to clean up the mess, but it may already be too late. The word is, gangs on the inside aren't just plotting to rough him up. They were talking about silencing him permanently. This isn't just jailhouse gossip. This is life or death heat circling around a boy who thought he was untouchable. So how did it all come to this? Let me break it down. The traffic stop that flipped King A.S. world upside down wasn't just some random incident. It was the spark that lit this entire firestorm. Picture this: 20-year-old King Sandra Harris, son of trap legend Clifford T.I. Harris Jr., sliding through the suburbs in a black BMW. To outsiders, it looked like a normal drive, but behind the tinted windows sat trouble waiting to explode.
Well, I'm saying that you weren't allowed to turn left right there because it's separated by those double yellow lines.
I
got you. Do you have your license on you?
Within minutes, what should have been a chill cruise turned into a moment that shook timelines across Twitter, Instagram, and WorldStar. King, who had been flaunting his lifestyle online, flexing jewelry, and chasing rap clout, was about to face a reality check that no chain or studio session could protect him from. It all started with something as small as a traffic violation. But in the suburbs, small mistakes can turn catastrophic in seconds. According to reports from Fox 5 Atlanta and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, King nearly sideswiped a Dunwoody police cruiser while pulling out of a gas station. Instantly, flashing lights hit the rear view as officers whipped their squad car around. The Beamer was stopped cold, but this wasn't going to be about a warning ticket. When the officer walked up, the smell of loud smoke hit him like a wall, and his eyes locked on something even worse: a firearm tucked on King's hip.
Go ahead and step it up. Okay, Mr. Harris. Okay, we gotta have a talk about something else, so keep your hands on the steering wheel for me.
From that moment, the stop went from zero to explosive drama in a heartbeat. Body cam footage released in 2025 showed the whole encounter, and it was surreal. The cops stayed calm, explaining the stop, asking King to step out, but there was a tension in the air you could feel through the screen. Then came the bombshell. When they ran his government name, the system lit up with an active bench warrant straight out of Pickens County, Georgia. That was the turning point. The moment King Harris's fate took a dark turn, setting the stage for the chaos that would haunt him all the way into jail. That warrant wasn't for anything light. It was for failure to appear in court, and it traced all the way back to 2022. To really understand how deep this rabbit hole went, you gotta rewind the clock to August of that year. That's when King Harris got pulled over and slapped with not one, not two, but 3 charges: speeding, driving under the influence of drugs, and cruising around in a car while knowingly holding a suspended license.
I smell some weed in the car, so our procedure is we gotta check it. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of?
Man, I don't want y'all to check the car.
I can't hear you.
I don't want y'all to search the car.
Well, I understand that, but if I smell weed, that's probable cause to search the vehicle.
You're not gonna find them. You're gonna find my guns.
Just multiple guns?
I got a stick, an AR.
According to Rolling Out, these were the type of misdemeanors most folks would treat as minor bumps in the road. But King? He didn't take care of business the way he should have. When that court date notice got mailed out in September 2024, it didn't land in his hands. It came back marked undelivered in Georgia. And anyone who knows the system understands this. Miss your court date, even for something petty, and suddenly you're branded with a bench warrant that can haunt you for years. That's exactly what happened here. So fast forward to October, when King almost sideswiped that police cruiser in the suburbs. That old warrant was just sitting there, waiting to trap him like quicksand. And once those flashing lights hit the Beamer, his fate was already locked in. As the stop heated up, things spiraled.
You seem like a cool kid. I don't want anything to come out of this. So let's just make sure that the warrant's valid and go from there, okay? So they did confirm it. So the warrant is valid and they do want you. Well, and now that I'm thinking about it, I want you to make sure that you know your rights. I'm gonna read your Miranda real quick. Just give me 1 sec.
The body cam footage shows officers sniffing out that sticky, loud, and pressing King about the weapon sitting in the car. And King, he didn't duck or dodge. He kept it all the way blunt, straight up admitting he had burners on him. For many who later watched that footage, the moment was jaw-dropping. The son of a trap music pioneer, openly confessing to riding dirty with heavy firepower and a cloud of gas lingering in the air. But here's the twist. What really froze the officers in their tracks wasn't to King's cocky attitude, or even the smell of smoke filling the whip. It was something else, something far more dangerous lurking in plain sight. What shocked people most wasn't the weed, the warrant, or even the steel. It was the way King handled himself.
What I would appreciate more than anything right now is to be able to make a phone call. So when we get there, it can already be figured
To
out.
who? Who are you trying to make a phone call to?
I'm trying to make a phone call to my pop.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me.
Despite the tension, he played it smooth like a seasoned vet. No sudden moves, no wild backtalk. He kept his hands visible, stepped out the ride when told, and even joked around with the officers. At one point, the cops straight up told him he was being surprisingly chill for the situation, and that vibe carried through most of the footage. But once that bench warrant lit up the system, the story was sealed. The officers didn't hesitate. Cuffs came out, wrists got locked, and King Harris was officially booked. That's the textbook Miranda moment, the kind of scene where everyone watching realized this wasn't just another routine stop. It was the start of something bigger. First, he was processed at DeKalb County Jail before being shipped over to Pickens County where the warrant had originated. And here's where things got even spicier. During casual chatter in the back of the patrol car, King casually dropped the bombshell. His pops was none other than Clifford T.I. Harris, the King of the South himself. The officers now realized this wasn't just any young cat caught slipping. This was hip-hop royalty's son, chained up and sitting in the back seat like any other suspect. Viewers online would later light up comment sections with one thought. History was repeating itself.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
What you want to do? What you want to do? You from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
All right, so... Oh, hell, y'all, let's go. What's up with you, bro?
I've already made my peace with it. Cause I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out, son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmama, his ass going to prison. If he goddamn keep that shit up, his ass going to prison.
Just like his father had battled courtrooms and cages, now King was walking down the same dangerous road. But then came the twist nobody expected. Despite the drama, the loud in the air, the burners in the car, and the confirmed warrant, King didn't stay locked down. By the very next day, October 15th, 2024, the warrant was recalled, and King walked free like nothing happened. No new charges stuck for the marijuana or the straps. Why? Because in Georgia, licensed carry is legal, and small amounts of weed usually just mean a ticket, not serious time. So technically, the legal beef got squashed almost as fast as it flared up. But in the eyes of the culture, the stain was permanent. His name was splattered everywhere. TMZ, hot new hip-hop, blogs, and podcasts. Headlines screamed, T.I.'s son arrested, guns and weed found, warrant confirmed. It wasn't just a suburban arrest anymore. It became a hip-hop talking point, a cautionary tale, and the moment King Harris's street reputation shifted forever.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, That means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
Do you have any questions for me? No. You need anything to go with you? My phone. Your phone? Where's your phone at? Your phone. We're in the car. I'm not looking for phones. I'm looking for drugs and guns.
On paper, it looked like nothing major. A short bid, a quick in and out. But in the culture, it meant something way bigger. For years, T.I. had been warning his son that chasing a street image in the suburbs would only end one way, locked up or worse. In interview after interview, Tip said it plain. King was walking down a dangerous path. And now? That prediction had come true right before the world's eyes. But here's the twist. The body cam footage didn't show some reckless kid acting tough. It showed a layered picture. King wasn't wilding, he wasn't screaming, he wasn't fighting. Instead, he was calm, almost resigned. He openly admitted he was confused about the warrant and even asked to hit up his pops for clarity. That moment humanized him in a way nobody expected. The boy who had spent so much time online trying to flex his street cred suddenly looked like just a young man in cuffs, stuck in suburbia, reaching out to call his father. When the footage finally surfaced in 2025, YouTube lit up, blogs ran with it, and the hip-hop commentariat went crazy. For some, it was the smoking gun proving what they'd been saying all along, that King was forcing a street persona that didn't a T match his reality.
Tell me, it been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker that life could throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break down.
I need that after.
Atlanta's Black Star even dropped a blunt headline accusing him of trying too hard to be street. But others defended him, pointing out that bench warrants over traffic cases happened to plenty of young adults. It didn't mean he was some menace to society. Still, perception is everything, and the optics were undeniable. The headline screamed, T.I.'s son caught with burners and gas in the suburbs. That stuck to King's name like glue. Overnight, it solidified his rep as someone who was really in the mix, even if his mix was more complicated than the memes suggested. But make no mistake, this was only the opening chapter. Because while the official record showed a brief jail stay and a next-day release, the whispers in the streets told a darker, more dangerous story about what really went down after that night. By 2025, the internet was buzzing with wild claims and rumors. Some swore King Harris had already been sentenced to 5 years. Others swore he got jumped in county jail. And the loudest whispers said T.I. himself was out here begging OGs to keep his son safe. That became the narrative. A father with all the fame, money, and respect in the world suddenly humbled, scrambling to shield his child from a street code that doesn't bend for anyone.
Wayne, where you going too fucking far, dog? That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be.
I had one of you niggas who done been to the penitentiary before, man. What happened when a motherfucker say somebody ain't right and they got there show their paperwork and they is right? What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me that.
But I'm gonna tell you like this, when I saw that, I think T.I. fucking lying.
Because behind every viral clip of King flexing or mouthing off was another figure in the shadows, Clifford Harris Jr., better known as T.I., grappling with the impossible task of raising a son in full public view. King's October 2024 arrest might have stolen headlines, but it was only one episode in a family saga that had been boiling for years. A generational clash of pride, values, and identity was already simmering long before those flashing blue lights lit up Dunwoody. T.I. had been sounding the alarm for years. He didn't sugarcoat it. In interviews, he admitted he was deeply worried about his son's behavior, whether it was throwing hands in Waffle House fights or waving weapons online for clout. To him, King wasn't just acting out. He was chasing the wrong kind of validation. And these weren't empty warnings either. Tip lived that life. He knew firsthand how fast the streets chew up young men. Back in 2009, he himself did a year in federal prison on weapons charges, and long before that, his rap career was littered with arrests and courtroom drama. Having walked that dark road, T.I. often gave it to King straight. Keep moving like this and you're gonna end up in prison.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
Yeah. Can't help. That's my baby. That's my baby. Get it?
So when King finally got cuffed in October 2024, many said it felt like prophecy fulfilled. But truth be told, cracks in their father-son bond were visible long before the traffic stop. The tension had been spilling into the public eye. At an Atlanta Falcons game in late 2023, cameras caught King and T.I. in a heated argument that quickly went viral, sparking endless debates about whether King respected his father at all. In that viral stadium meltdown, King shouted at the top of his lungs that he wasn't some spoiled silver spoon kid. He swore his childhood wasn't spent in the lap of luxury inside T.I. and Tiny's mansion. Instead, he claimed he grew up with his grandmother, away from the celebrity spotlight, away from the comforts the Harris empire could provide. For King, it was about proving he was authentic, real, battle-tested. For T.I., it was flat-out exasperating. His own son rejecting the stability he had fought tooth and nail to build. That night at the Falcons Stadium became bigger than just a family spat. It was a metaphor. A father and son locked in a tug-of-war over identity, each one desperate to prove the other wrong, while the crowd in the stands and millions online watched like it was the latest episode of a reality show.
I live with my grandma. You know, we'll go to the house on like a weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'm right back to my grandma's house. Yep. Hey, so what I'm saying is, they
You can talk like that outside.
Hey, I can talk how the fuck I want to wherever I'm at. I'm on live, Shawty. Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. This ain't your fucking restaurant. This ain't your fucking restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name?
What's your name?
My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. File your shit.
Come back.
What? On game what? On game what? Come here. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here. Come on.
So when King Harris got pulled over in Dunwoody in October 2024, and police discovered weed, firearms, and a bench warrant, it wasn't just another legal hiccup. It was a full-blown family earthquake that shook the Harris legacy. But here's the real kicker. That moment when King, sitting in handcuffs, asked to call his father, was a shocking contrast to the tough guy persona he usually projected online. It exposed the fragile truth behind all the bravado. Beneath the arguments and public blow-ups, King still saw T.I. as the one person who could save him when the chips were down. Publicly, Tip played it cool. No fiery Instagram rants, no staged press conference. But behind the scenes, reports say he was burning up the phone lines, checking in with lawyers, calling court clerks, doing everything in his power to contain the damage. And this wasn't just about legal fallout. This was about reputation. T.I. had spent the last decade crafting his image as more than a rapper. He was now a mogul, a TV star, a father figure, a brand. His son in cuffs wasn't just a Harris family scandal. It was a direct threat to the empire he had built brick by brick. And just as the smoke from that arrest began to settle, life dropped another twist. Because while T.I. was handling his son's downfall, King himself was stepping into fatherhood. In November 2024, he and his longtime partner, Sia Big Nana Epps, welcomed their baby boy, King Jr.
Well, I mean, of course I spoke to my son. You know, me and his uncles. You know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with the short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who is at such another level of life. Now, I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living the way they hope they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury, and you know, people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to remove yourself from that energy and go enjoy your life.
The irony wasn't lost on anyone, especially T.I. In a hot 107.9 interview shortly after the news broke, he cracked a joke that hit like a truth bomb, showing the painful cycle of fatherhood coming full circle in real time. It was funny, it was raw, but it was also painfully real. T.I.'s joke wasn't just humor, it was an admission that the cycle was repeating. King, once the rebellious son, was now stepping into fatherhood, about to face the same test of responsibility he had been dodging for years. For regular families, a son's arrest or a heated father-son argument might fade quietly behind closed doors. But the Harrises? They aren't ordinary. Every slip-up becomes a headline. Every clash a viral clip dissected in real time. Billboards splashed the arrest across their site. Atlanta Black Star mocked King's obsession with wanting to be a thug so bad. And social media? It had a field day, spinning his struggles into endless memes. For T.I., that meant every fatherly failure became public property. For King, it meant every youthful mistake was painted as proof that he was reckless, spoiled, or trying too hard. Together, their private battles transformed into a spectacle. Part hip-hop dynasty, part reality TV, part cautionary tale playing out in front of millions. King himself even described his relationship with his father in chillingly accurate terms. He compared them to Ghost and Tariq from Power. And it wasn't just a casual line to sound cool. It fit perfectly. Ghost, the father, clawed his way out of the streets to build an empire, desperate to shield his son from the same mistakes. Tariq, the son, rejecting that shield, chasing his own independence, even if it meant diving headfirst into danger. That's the Harris family dynamic in its rawest form. T.I. sees his past when he looks at King's present. He sees the same paths, the same pitfalls, and he knows exactly where they lead. King, on the other hand, sees his father's warnings as shackles, chains he believes he has to break to define himself. And the public eats it up. Every stumble, every fight, every courtroom twist gets turned into viral content. What keeps people hooked on the Harris saga isn't just the fame, the wealth, or the controversy. It's the humanity bleeding through. A father who loves his son, but fears his choices. A son who deep down loves his father, but refuses to admit it. A family balancing privilege and authenticity, caught in the paradox of being ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. By the time 2025 rolled around, it was obvious. King Harris's story was no longer about one arrest. It had grown into something much bigger.
If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any of my questions or make any statements. So my question to you is, I found just a non-felony in that ashtray in the back, as well as in that basketball sleeve. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to these guys, and someone has to get charged with it. It's not dude.
I'm not talking.
You're not gonna talk to me? I gotcha. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
You need anything to go with you?
My phone.
Your phone? Where's your phone at?
In the car.
We're in the car.
You search you, see?
I'm not looking for phones, I'm looking for drugs and guns.
Ask me where my phone is.
What kind of phone is it?
What color is your phone?
It's a clear case on it.
It became a story about generational push and pull, about the cycle of hip-hop families, and about the eternal question: can children of fame truly carve out their own legacy? For King, the next chapter would decide everything, whether he could be more than just T.I.'s son, and whether fatherhood, music, and his own name would finally define him. The question hanging over King Harris now is simple. Will fatherhood and music pull him toward growth, or drag him right back into the same spotlight for all the wrong reasons? Because King's future isn't just about beats and bars. It's about survival, redemption, and whether he can rise above being forever labeled as T.I.'s troubled son. When people talk about King Harris in 2025, the conversation almost always circles back to that October arrest. The flashing blue lights in Dunwoody, the body cam footage, the mugshot plastered everywhere. But King's story is bigger than what went down in a suburban parking lot. It's about what happens next, his journey as an artist, as a father, and as the heir to one of hip-hop's most complicated legacies. Yes, the rumors of gang beef, jailhouse drama, and whispered threats dominate the headlines. But the truth, King's life is unfolding in real time, like an unfiltered series with no pause button. On one side, he's navigating his music career. On the other, he's navigating fatherhood. And caught in the middle is the never-ending clash with his famous father. It all pivoted on November 5th, 2024, just weeks after his arrest, when King and his longtime partner, Jania Big Nana Epps, welcomed their baby boy. At exactly 8:09 a.m., he proudly introduced the world to King Jr. with the post, "Welcome King Jr., time to take over." That moment hit different. Becoming a dad at 20 is life-changing for anyone. But for King, the timing was surreal. 1 month he was in cuffs begging to call his father. The next he was holding his own seed, stepping into the same role he used to rebel against. On the surface, it was funny, almost ironic. But beneath the humor was something serious. A recognition that cycles repeat. How King handles this chapter of fatherhood could decide everything. Whether his son grows up to rise above his father's mistakes, or ends up reliving them in the same spotlight. Running parallel to fatherhood is King's music grind.
I gotta say something about this, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have it figured out yet. He might meet a woman, anything at 16 and fall in love with her. But it's be gone. How you gonna, like, bruh, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bruh. Like, bruh, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay. But don't cut his off, bruh.
Since his teens, he's been dropping tracks, hustling to carve out an identity outside of his father's massive shadow. But that October arrest changed the game. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about his music. It was about whether he was really built for the life he portrayed. On one hand, the controversy gave him attention every young rapper craves. On the other, it put his artistry in a strange position. Was he ready to be taken seriously, or forever viewed as another rapper defined by scandal? Controversy sells, and King Harris knows it. When he dropped Dear Son after the birth of his child, people didn't just click play for the music. They tuned in to see if this was the moment King would finally reveal who he really was. Would he rap about growth and regret? Would he double down on defiance? Or would the whole thing sound like Damage Control after the mugshots? Because let's be real, every stream came with side-eye. His biggest risk is obvious, that his name gets remembered more for viral arrests than viral mixtapes. Even Billboard pointed out the double-edged sword of being a celebrity's child. The doors fly open, sure, but the expectations are sky high, and the comparisons never stop. King himself leaned into it by telling fans his bond with T.I. was like Power's Ghost and Tariq, a mix of love, tension, and rebellion. And that comparison bleeds right into his music, echoing the constant battle of trying to escape his father's shadow while being forever shaped by it. For better or worse, T.I.'s son is stamped onto King's brand, whether he wants it or not. And this isn't a new script. Hip-hop history is littered with kids of rap royalty struggling to carve out their own names. Think Lil Romeo balancing Master P's empire with his own career. Think Coi Leray constantly compared to her father Benzino, fighting to prove she earned her spot. The same eyes are on King, waiting to see if he's self-made or just coasting on his last name. That viral Falcons game argument with his father became another piece of that puzzle. When King screamed that he wasn't raised in privilege and had lived with his grandmother instead of in T.I. and Tiny's mansion, it was his way of clawing for authenticity. It's the same reason he flashes burners online and leans into controversy. But here's the paradox. The harder he tries to prove he's not a spoiled celebrity kid, the more the media locks him into exactly that label. And King's story connects to something way bigger than just one family drama.
Hey, one of you niggas would have been to the penitentiary before, man. What happened when a motherfuckers say somebody ain't right and they goddamn show their paperwork and they is right. What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me that. See, most of you motherfuckers ain't never been in no trouble. Motherfuckers ain't never been nowhere. Anybody tell me. It been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker that like to throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break down yet. Matter of fact, I come out smelling too good, the way you nigga think something wrong.
Hip-hop is built on generational cycles. The pioneers who once rapped about hustling, prison, and survival eventually reinvent themselves as moguls and family men. But then their kids grow up looking at that old street image as more authentic than the comfortable life they were handed. T.I. is the perfect example. He risked it all, lived it all, and then built himself into a businessman and father figure. Yet when King looks back, he doesn't see the mogul. He sees the hustler, the outlaw, the trap legend. And in his eyes, that feels more real than the suburban stability he was given. But instead of embracing the stability handed to him, King chased after realness. And that's exactly what has driven the wedge between father and son. Even T.I. himself has admitted it in interviews, saying straight up, "King's determined to do it his way, no matter what I tell him." That stubborn streak mirrors the struggle of countless hip-hop heirs who grow up with money, fame, and privilege, yet crave the one thing their fathers can't buy: street credibility. At the heart of it all is that unshakable clash between father and son. And because the Harrises aren't a normal family, every private argument becomes a public performance. The Falcons game blow-up, the messy online back and forths, the body cam footage of King asking to call his dad. These weren't just family drama. They became viral moments dissected by millions, as if the world was watching a scripted reality series. So when King compared his relationship with T.I. to Ghost and Tariq from Power, it wasn't exaggeration. It was a perfect metaphor. A generational power struggle wrapped in love, buried beneath layers of resentment. Both men desperate to prove the other wrong. One trying to protect, the other desperate to rebel. It's Shakespeare in Jordans and jewelry. Only this stage is the internet, and the stakes are real lives, reputations, and legacies. Now King Harris finds himself at the biggest crossroads of his young life. With the birth of his son, he holds the chance to break the cycle and redefine himself in ways no one expects. Fatherhood can either be the anchor that steadies him, or the extra weight that drowns him. Every choice he makes as a parent will be judged, screenshot, debated, and memed. The question is, will he let fatherhood harden him into a stronger man, or will the pressure buckle him beneath the spotlight? And then comes the music. This is King's other test, and it's just as pivotal. Controversy can get clicks, but it doesn't guarantee credibility. His challenge now is to take the chaos, the arrest, the Falcons argument, the street talk, the fractured relationship with his father, and transform it into raw, unflinching storytelling. If he can flip pain into power, if he can rap in a way that feels authentic instead of performative, then maybe he has a shot at carving out his own lane. One that exists beyond headlines, beyond scandals, beyond just being labeled T.I.'s son. But if King leans only on viral moments and internet infamy, he risks going down in history as nothing more than a headline, another cautionary tale instead of a headliner. The Harris name carries undeniable weight in hip-hop, and that legacy will always ride heavy on his shoulders. His father built an empire brick by brick, forged out of hustles, hard lessons, and hard time. Now the world is watching to see if King will elevate that legacy or drag it through the mud. And that's why his every move matters. His wins or losses won't just define him. They reflect directly on T.I. as a father, a mentor, and a man who's been warning his son about this road for years. Every step King takes, whether toward growth or destruction, becomes part of a generational story about inheritance, pride, and the crushing burden of living in the shadow of greatness. Right now, King Harris stands at the ultimate crossroads. On one side is the narrative of the reckless, privileged kid chasing a street image that could swallow him whole. On the other is the chance to rewrite his name through fatherhood, artistry, and maturity. Which direction he takes will determine whether the next viral headline is another mugshot, or a platinum plaque with his name stamped on it. Because in the end, this saga isn't just about gangs, jail time, or even internet gossip. It's about a family in transition. a father fighting to pull his son away from disaster, a son desperate to prove his worth, even if it means clashing with the man who gave him everything. King Harris is more than just T.I.'s boy. He's a rapper, a father, a public figure living under a microscope, where every slip becomes a scandal and every victory becomes a headline. And while the internet loves to exaggerate, the reality doesn't need any extra spice. It's already dramatic enough. A young man caught between privilege and authenticity, standing in the shadow of his father's empire while trying to build his own. The real question isn't whether T.I. begged gang leaders to keep his son safe. It's whether King Harris will finally step up, level up, and grow into his full potential before the cycle repeats itself once again.